Hi everybody, my name is William Beam from the Aperture vs. Lightroom blog. Today we're going to continue our look at Lightroom books with part 2, and we're going to look a little bit closer at customization with inside of Lightroom books. The first video kind of touched on it a little bit along with the other features, but now we're going to dig in a little bit deeper. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and see where we left off last time. I had a small book project and a whole lot of photos down here, probably more than I would ever need. So let's see what we can do. One of the first things I wanted to take a look at is the auto layout. You can, if you recall, when I did this before, we can just hit the button and it will automatically populate everything out there. By default, it kind of puts one photo per page, and you can move your photos in and around there. You can zoom in and out depending on what you want to do. It would be nice if you had a little bit more control over how that works. So let's go ahead and clear that layout and see what we can do. The first thing you notice over here is there's a preset, one photo per page, and there are 3 presets by default. Left blank, one right photo and a caption, or left blank, one photo. They don't want to give you too much on the left page apparently. So if you look down here, you can see where it says Edit Auto Layout Preset. Let's click that, and by default, it says one photo per page. You can change what happens on both the left and the right side. So let's take a look at this one over here for the left pages. And you can go with a fixed layout of your choice, which gives you all of the same pages that you would, or page types that you would look at if you were actually working inside of the layout that we were looking at in the first video. You can also do a random layout from your favorites. If you've populated your favorites, that might not be a bad idea. You already know that you like those layouts, and Lightroom can automatically throw things in there with using layouts that you prefer or like. You may still want to go back and tweak them a little bit, but it's a good starting place. Since we don't really have much here on this book project that's our favorites, let's just go in here and take a look. Custom pages would be any of those pages that you've already customized yourself. I haven't done a lot here, so let's say that we may want to start off with 2 photos per page. If you want to have some text, you've got options over here with 2 photos with text on either side. And you can scroll down and you can see there's a lot of options provided here inside of Lightroom 5. You've got a couple of panoramas together if you like. You can put them, a couple of portraits side by side. It's really a matter of your taste. Keep in mind that this is going to lay out your photos in the order that you see down here in the film strip. So at the beginning of the book, the very first photo that you see is probably going to be your cover page, and it's just going to go from there straight on back. So I'm going to go down here and take a look at just a couple of them for multiple photos. Maybe I want to have a bit of a grid, or maybe I don't. I'm going to do something strange. I'm going to go with 2 photos and set this option right here, just for the fun of it. We can add text to photos or not and customize it. And again, we have the same options over here on the left side. We can use a fixed layout, or we can do random from our favorites and how many photos we want to put in there. Again, I'm going to go to fixed layout, and I'm going to leave this one as 1 photo per page. Instead of the full bleed, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one just to be a little bit different. And we're going to click Update the Preset. Now let's go ahead and do our auto layout. Automatically, you see we've got something different. Every page showing what we wanted over here with these 2 images, and then a one photo per page over here, not a full bleed like the default was. So you can play around with that, you can do whatever you like, but just keep in mind that you've got your presets and you can edit them and create something very unique on your own. When it comes to customizing your pages, you don't have quite complete control. You can change the sizing of a photo or text within the page type that you've chosen. So for example, we can come over here to this page and it's 1 photo. We can select 2 photos and change those sizes. But you can't quite create your own custom template from scratch. And let me just make this one a little bit larger and show you what we can do and what we cannot do. So for example, you can move the image around. You can zoom in on anything in particular. And if you're wondering what that creepy thing is, I did a photo assignment at a local attraction. This is their laser tag. That's their, it's kind of like a bumper car basketball. So I know I get strange things. With that in mind, we can come over here to the cell and we can change the padding. By default, if you move one, you're moving all of them. They're linked together. That's where it shows this link all. So you can see the sliders are moving in tandem with each other. If we check this link all button, that unlinks them. So now we can individually size things with a slider. So in this one, I'm selecting the right slider, and you can see how it's getting smaller and smaller. And as I move it over, the other options, will have to get smaller as well, just in relationship to the amount of points that I'm moving this. So I can move this, let's say, a standard amount for each one of them. If I can get there, it's a little tricky because maybe it's not. Let's see if we. Oh, that's so much nicer. I was just able to type that in there instead of having to get 35 on the left side, and not quite right. So let's say we want to make this a bit more drastic for the top and the bottom, and we've made ourselves a little bit of a pano right there. We've probably got that in the layout already. It's a lot of the things I've seen that I've wanted to do as a custom layout. Again, I can come down over here, and if I look at one photo, I can probably find something very similar to what I created. But just in case that you can't, it's nice to know that you can go ahead and change those dimensions of the photo itself. What I cannot do from here is change this from 1 photo per page to 2 photos per page. And I cannot add another text module here. I cannot add another text module in there. I can't add another photo module if I control click. No, all I can do is what you see here. Zoom the photo to fill the cell, which we can do there. I can remove the photo. I can add a page, add a blank page. I can copy this layout, remove the page, and of course, if I like it, I can save it as a custom page. And then here's all the photos seem to have this option down here to add photo text, which you can then drag up and down. But if I wanted 2 sets of text, for example, let's say I wanted to make a headline up here and then I wanted to have some body or filler text down there, I can't do that here. So with that in mind, your customizations are really limited to modifying the type of page that you put out here, not creating your own designs. And if I want to do something with 2 photos, that's great. If I want to do something with text in a couple of places, I don't have the option. It's just not there. So you can come up with some creative ideas, but it's by default, it's not letting you add another box here for photos or text. Just something to keep in mind. All right, now let's take a look at customizing the background. In the previous lesson, I changed the background for this photograph to black. It was very simple. I just used a background color. I checked this, turned that on, selected in here, and selected black. If I just want to turn it to white, I can go over there. And again, you can move up and down through here, and you can go through a number of different colors. And same thing with scrolling over here and choosing that. So let's go back to black. If I want to add a graphic, I can click this. There are some preset choices. You can add a photograph. All you have to do is select one of your images and drop it over there, and you can see it's in the background. The opacity is up to you. You can change this around. Let's go somewhere close to 20-25%. Notice that I've also still got the background color selected. If I deselect it, you can see the wash. If I select it, though, that shows you've got a bit of a choice if you want to make an image darker or lighter. I'm not a big fan of background images, but you've got the options to do things over there if you'd like to. Something else you can do is we can get rid of the graphic. We can, instead of using that background photo, we can go back over here and click on this. And you see inside of this little gray area, I've got the color picker. As soon as I move out, it disappears. On the other hand, if I click down and then just drag that over while I'm still clicking, you can see the background changes as I start to sample elements of my photograph. So I can come over here, select a dark blue area of the photograph, the background changes, I let go, and I've got a custom background using a color that matches something inside of my photograph. And this little button over here is dangerous because it says apply background globally. If I check that, every other photo in the book is going to have the same background. So let me hit the arrow key, move over to the next photo. You can see it still has the default white photo. If I check this box, I move over, it's got this background now. The reason I say it's dangerous is because if you do a couple of custom backgrounds and then you forget about that and you check it, all that custom work is gone. It's just knocked out because you chose to do this globally. You can turn that off and it's still there, so it's not like it immediately goes away. If you want to reset everything back to white, you literally have to come back over here and do that and just reset it to white, but then you've lost your customization here and any other place that you've done it. So use this sparingly, use it carefully. In most cases, I would turn it off and leave it off, except for at the very beginning of your book project, in case you wanted to, by default, you wanted a black background or some other color, or if you wanted to use one of the graphics. I would still kind of suggest using those sparingly, because even like, with travel, with some of these maps and so forth, it gets a little old saying the same thing over and over again on every page. Those are all the customizations I have with Lightroom 5. Thank you so much for paying attention, and I will follow up with this project, having ordered a couple of books from both Apple and Lightroom, and we'll take a look at a future post to see how they compare. Thanks so much.